what if the things sitting totally unused in your house right now are secretly draining your wealth?
Yeah, that is definitely a scary thought, right?
Right. So today we are taking a deep dive into the sharing economy. Basically, we want to figure out how simply getting access to things is completely replacing the traditional idea of ownership.
Which is a massive shift in how we think about money.
Exactly. And we are pulling insights from a Wharton business breakdown, an academic study on consumer behavior, an article from the British Council, and even a comic book on financial intelligence to break all this down.
And, we really have to start with the origin story that kicked this whole shift off. Because nobody was really talking about monetizing dead space until, well, two broke guys in San Francisco literally could not pay their rent.
Oh, yeah, the Wharton podcast source outlines this perfectly. Yeah. Back in 2007, these founders, Brian Chesky and Gebbia, were totally desperate.
They needed cash fast.
Right, because a massive design conference had just booked up every single hotel in the city. So they went out, bought 3 air mattresses, blew them up on their loft floor, and charged guests $80 a night.
I mean, they literally called it air bed and breakfast, which is just wild to think about now.
It really is.
And then they brought in Nathan Blakarsik to, build out the actual digital platform. And that one desperate attempt to make rent eventually evolved into a $31 billion valuation.
$31 billion.
Yeah.
That is just unbelievable. And that ties right into that financial intelligence comic book we reviewed, right?
Yeah.
Did these guys essentially figure out a way to magically turn a crushing personal liability like their rent into an income-generating asset?
They absolutely did, yeah. The whole peer-to-peer model is entirely about that. It's about monetizing dead space.
Making a quick buck, basically.
Right, exactly like the British Council reading points out. It allows everyday people to make a quick buck off underutilized items. It is a fundamental shift away from a purely consumerist society.
Okay, but let me push back on this for just a second. Calling an empty room or a parked car a liability feels, I don't know, a bit dramatic. Like, my empty driveway isn't actively costing me money out of pocket. It's just sitting there.
Well, sure, it's not costing you out of pocket. But in economics, we look at this thing called opportunity cost.
Opportunity cost.
Yeah, so by letting an asset just sit idle, you are actually losing out on potential income,
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Because it could be earning money for you.
Exactly. The sharing economy model thrives by granting temporary access to those underutilized assets for a fee, usually through an online platform.
While you still own it.
Right.
Right.
You keep ownership, but someone else pays to use it when you aren't. So everyone doesn't feel the need to buy their own power drill just to use it for 5 minutes total in its entire lifespan.
Okay, the math makes total sense for the person renting out the driveway or the drill. But what about the person renting it? Why would anyone choose to sleep on a stranger's floor mattress instead of a predictable, safe hotel room?
Well, that academic paper in administrative sciences actually lists 3 main drivers for consumers. They are economic benefits, enjoyment, and trust.
The economic benefit is obvious. I mean, you save money. But how does enjoyment factor in here?
Enjoyment comes from the desire for authentic local experiences. Like, a sterile hotel lobby feels the exact same in Tokyo as it does in New York, right?
How true.
Staying in someone's actual neighborhood offers a really unique connection. But you hit on the most critical element earlier, which is trust.
Trust seems huge.
It is. Trust isn't just a driver, it's the actual product being sold. Platforms like Airbnb don't own beds, they own a trust verification system.
Like the two-way review system. Because without it, you're basically just sleeping in a random house and hoping for the best.
Precisely. And that's why the study highlights perceived risk as a really powerful moderator.
Moderator meaning it can change how people act.
Right. Think about early safety concerns, or how the COVID-19 pandemic just completely froze travel. If the perceived risk of sleeping in that stranger's house skyrockets, the economic benefits completely lose their appeal.
Nobody cares about saving $20 if they feel their health or safety is threatened.
Exactly. The whole model just collapses.
And scaling that trust system didn't happen in a vacuum either. As these platforms exploded, they slammed right into a massive wall, which was the traditional hotel industry. I remember reading the Derek Callan Business English source, and it's super clear the old guard didn't just roll over.
Oh, not at all. It was a fierce battle.
Yeah, regulations and hotel pushback became a major sticking point. And by sticking point, I mean a topic where agreement is just impossible. It dragged legal battles right down to the wire in cities all over the globe.
Because you have unregulated individuals basically acting like mini hotels, right? But they don't have to pay for commercial licenses or fire safety audits or hospitality
They
taxes.
aren't following the same rules as traditional businesses.
Exactly. And that regulatory gray area causes massive friction. But the model continues to steamroll forward anyway because it fulfills this undeniable consumer demand.
People want what they want.
Right. They want affordable, accessible experiences on their own terms, and the platform delivers that way faster than regulators can draft new laws.
It is wild to think about. So, to our listener, take a look around your own life today. What underutilized assets do you have just sitting around?
Yeah, like maybe a camera you only use once a
Or
year.
an empty parking spot? You might be sitting on hidden wealth just waiting to be tapped into.
It really challenges you to look at your possessions as a potential portfolio rather than just stuff taking up space.
It definitely does. And it leaves us with something bigger to chew on. If the sharing economy means we can efficiently rent absolutely everything we need on demand, from cars to clothes to a roof over our heads,
Yeah.
are we rapidly moving toward a future where the traditional dream of personal ownership becomes completely obsolete?